In this highly globalized and interconnected world, traveling today is a lot more convenient than it was 100 years ago. It isn't just traveling that's gotten easier. Settling down abroad is also becoming a popular choice. Excluding military and government personnel, did you know that there are about 10 million Americans who live in other countries? This figure is just an estimate, since characterizing what living abroad means would depend on a lot of different factors, such as if they're citizens, or if they purchased property abroad. Most of the time, and according to different studies, about 60% of people prefer to live abroad because the cost of living is so much more affordable, such as your everyday necessities, housing, and healthcare. It can also be because your soulmate lives halfway across the world, and distance could never stop you from love, right? Hello everyone, and welcome to World IQ. Today, we will explore the top 10 countries with the highest number of American expatriates. Let's get it! Benvenuto in Italia at number 10, Italy. We all already know, Italy has good food, and it's filled with beautiful ancient cities. The weather there is also nice, but objectively, the main reason why there are a lot of Americans there is because the cost of living in Italy is 42% cheaper compared to the US. Currently, there are about 60,000 to 80,000 Americans living in Italy long term. If you find a beautiful place that costs less, it's very easy to believe that it's a desirable country to settle in. Bienvenido a Peru. Coming in at number 9, Peru. Didn't see that coming, did ya? 56,000 to 84,000 Americans live in Peru to enjoy its world-famous mountain ranges, the friendly people, and the cost of living is also significantly better. To put it into perspective, you can buy $100 worth of stuff at American prices and it will only cost you about 19 in Peruvian dollars. Unfortunately, corruption is a serious issue in Peruvian cities. It's also very common for counterfeit currency to appear in circulation. Better watch out if you're a tourist. Au numéro 8. Bienvenue en France. C'est une surprise pour moi. I know my French say terrible. But yes, number 8 on the list is France. I think because a lot of the things in the US are super duper expensive when you compare housing, even to a country like France, then it would look cheaper. Unless you choose Paris, then it will be about the same. Apart from all the croissants et pâtisseries, you can also indulge in a world-class winery culture. The cost of living index in France is 65.9. The French do have a reputation for being rude to Americans, but that only happens when you're also being rude or stupid. They have a zero-tolerance policy on stupidity. The American population in France is 59,000 to 97,000. Annyeonghaseyo. At number 7, the popularity of South Korea is rising. The booming tech industry is also the main driver for why a lot of Americans end up here. South Koreans are very welcoming to newcomers, and they are very hospitable. There is something for everyone and every lifestyle in South Korea, from incredible hiking and beaches to cafe culture and a thriving nightlife, as well as a rich cultural heritage seen in festivals. The cost of living index in Korea is 54. That's half the price of what you have to pay in the US. Crazy, right? If you're used to the cold, then the winters here won't be much of a problem for you. But if you're coming from a tropical country, then brace yourselves, because the winters can sometimes bite. All 4 seasons exist here. Between 67,000 to 111,000 Americans reside in Korea. Shalom. I hope the natives, known as Sabras, will not come at me for trying to greet people in their language. But anyway, number 6 on the list is Israel. Apart from religious reasons, Americans are moving to Israel because of its booming tech industry and a really low cost of living will surely make you feel like you are a king. The cost of living index in Israel is 55.4. Israel isn't a war-torn desert landscape like Syria. In fact, you can live right on the Mediterranean in Tel Aviv, enjoy the deserts in southern Israel, or find your home in the lush greenery of the north. It's a small country with a lot of variety. You might think that the country is in shambles because of all the conflict news being reported. But for the most part, it is very rare to experience the craziness on the streets of Israel. It's a very beautiful country with nice weather year-round. No need for a winter coat here. Between 76,000 to 122,000 Americans live in Israel, and most Israelis would love to practice their English with you. No, that's right, the land down under. Plenty of reasons why Americans choose to settle down here. Australia isn't as cheap. You might be wondering why it's on the list. The cost of living index here is 78.1. The beaches and the lifestyle in Australia are the main reasons why people move here. 90% of the people in Australia live within 20 miles of the ocean. Moving further inland could mean fewer and fewer people, since shipping and logistics make everything else expensive. Around 114,000 to 145,000 Americans are happily living their lives in Australia, which is why this country comes in as number 5. No need to learn a foreign language. English is the national language. Guten Tag and herzlich willkommen. I won't try to read foreign languages anymore. But number 4 is Germany. It's not a very common conversation piece, but in recent years, there has been an uptick of Americans moving to Germany. While still being an advanced, industrialized country, this European country is a bit cheaper compared to the US. The shorter working hours here give you more opportunities for a work-life balance. If you're fed up with the terrible and utterly expensive healthcare in the US, then the free universal healthcare in Germany is certainly a breath of fresh air. 127,000 to 142,000 Americans currently reside in Germany. Hop on the train and you can be anywhere else in Europe within a couple hours. Time to explore. Long live the king! With the recent coronation of King Charles III, you probably have an idea which country has clinched the top 3 spot in our countdown. The language barrier when moving to another country can be both a challenge and an opportunity, depending on how you look at it. Most Americans consider it a convenient bonus, since the United Kingdom and places like Ireland and Scotland are all English speakers, as there is no barrier to overcome. The cost of living index is 63.1, and around 252,000 Americans live long-term in the country. For our first runner-up, I won't tell you what the country is. I'll just describe, and let's see if you all can guess where it is. The reasons are mainly because it's close to the US, and they have an excellent healthcare system. You won't go broke if you have major surgery. You would think that the cost of living would be higher because they pay a premium in taxes to get free healthcare, but they're able to keep it on the down low. You can get $100 worth of stuff for only $70 in their dollar. 270 to 312,000 Americans are already enjoying free healthcare in... Do you know which country it is? How about you pause for a moment and try to guess? If you're from Alaska or Michigan, you probably already have an idea since these states border our first runner-up, Canada. Before we give you our number 1, we want you to hit like, subscribe, and share. Tell us what you think about these countries. Taking our number 1 spot, Mexico. The reasons are pretty straightforward. It's close to the US. The weather, the cost of living, and the food and culture are the main drivers why Americans choose to move to Mexico. The cost of living index in Mexico is 26. $100 worth of stuff will only cost you about $26. 762,000 and 900,000 Americans live in Mexico. Some people might think about how this is a shock, since most people only hear about Americans moving to Thailand or the Philippines. But the countries on this list have the most Americans relative to their size. I hope you all enjoyed our video. Do you agree with our list? What other countries do you think many Americans live in? Comment on them below. Please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts about our video. Also, check out our other videos to increase your world IQ.